For this edition of Film and Chill's adaptation, I did end up reading Dexter is Delicious. Just based on memory and on a first reading of all 8 books. This one was top 3 in the franchise, I think. It was so funny, it was great. We deal with people that eat other people. And that's a very interesting spin because Dexter is delicious. Get it? I like that. That's the humor of Jeff Lindsay. The books are much funnier than the TV show. Now the next one, the 6th book, Double Dexter. I did enjoy Double Dexter, but there's a catch. Just based on my first reading and my memory, that was my second least favorite book in the franchise. We had great material for some of the characters in that book, but it wasn't as good as the other 8 books. It was slightly above the 3rd book, but I had issues. And I just realized we got the wrong background, but we are live talking about Dexter. Be advised, we will spoil the entire thing, so if you have not seen...
it's a 20-year-old show. Give
Yeah.
me a break. I mean,
but
if
we
you're,
still do
if
it.
you're,
We'll
see, the problem I will say this, the biggest problem with like season 4 through 6 is you start seeing not that millennial writing come through, but it's the writing. I think they were always leftist initially. Or
the books are also leftist.
Well, the problem, okay, when you get to the part with the with Lumen, like it's either her actor, like her actress, right? She plays a key. Like her, as an example, she gets referenced. Like there's key events in 4, and I want to say parts of 5 or 6, and then certain parts that get referenced more. But season 4 is more referenced in Dexter Mythos because it's the one they go back to a lot. You have the other part where Dexter starts to control his inner monster.
Yeah. So I guess we will dive deep into season 4 because you already kind of started there. So let's talk about season 4. What did you think of season 4?
Season 4, like going back, outside the fact of it's the season he has to deal with actual more trained professionals or more serious, because Trinity's been killing for 30 years. So the fact alone, I think the only issue I had that's in this season is, granted they drag out the dealing with Trinity more, but the issue itself is there is some weaker writing, and I think it's just coming down to a specific writer. It has to be somebody who was doing the scripts, because you should not, compared to the prior seasons, or it's not a consistent, you don't have certain scenes that are weaker than others. Yes, the finale is not as strong as the others, but the ending kinda is. But you would disagree over the getaway, but Rita's death, it doesn't explain that. It's probably better off you don't see Rita get killed, because granted, you can also blame. There's also the part in the Dexter lore, he gets blamed specifically for Rita's death more often, which separates it up to the prior series, because Rita's death affects Dexter more.
And because we mentioned that in the books, she's there for almost each book. All the books, she's there all the way up to near the end. I won't exactly say when exactly she is taking off the board, but she was a key part of a lot of these books. So to see her just dying there in season 4 is kind of shocking.
Well,
Anyway, keep going.
the books take a different path or the more corner. The show was more dealing with it because I'll be very honest, LaGuardia probably, like whoever writes LaGuardia, it's the Buzz Killington joke from Family Guy. She's horrible. And I mean,
That's why they only kept her for one book. Because they knew that.
I mean, there's no way. Like, it's not about a girl boss thing. Because in later seasons, she's just horrible. She's a horrible character. Like, it's just one of those things of by what? Season 5 and season 6, she's just acting like an insufferable Karen.
Wait for season 7, bro.
Oh god,
it's rock bottom. I'm telling you. Like,
what do you mean rock bottom? Rock bottom worse than season 5?
Yeah,
literally.
They didn't know how to write her. It's like she's stuck in season 1 or 2. Like, they never evolved her past that. They're like, we have her. We pretend she's there, and they just don't do anything with her.
I mean, the thing to season 4 is Dexter's learning, because now the weird part is, it's always weird how he has therapy sessions with the ones he's like, oh, but how do you manage your marriage? Like, he kills the double murders, the ones that were having the Cuban migrants kind of thing. But it's also like, he looks up to Trinity, but he doesn't also, he wants to learn to be a better parent, but it hits more like the finale, even though there's weaker parts to it. It's really more interesting that they don't say that he took the pit stop and killed Rita. Like, he figured out who Dexter was. But it's also Dexter's first time really dealing with an actual serial killer. Like, and then Dexter also, you can say he also in season 4 suffered a lot because he misunderstood. But there's also the part where he's having to deal with his father's code, which it goes into 5, and then you kind of see it a little bit in 6. But also a lot of the seasons are carried mainly by the villains. It's not the villains of the week as much as the main. And that's probably what causes certain seasons to suffer. Trinity is up there, but him being just diabolical. That's why I said there's parts of it where you have, I don't know who's worse, Quinn or LaGuardia?
I'd say LaGuardia because she doesn't evolve. And
Quinn doesn't get better either.
As much as I don't really like Quinn, I think he has arcs here and there, and he was there for less time than LaGuardia, and he changed a lot more. Like, we won't get into it right now because we are still in season 4, but I think season 5 had a key moment for him. But yeah, anything else you'd like to share about season 4?
I mean, season 4 is more the lore defining, where Dexter's trying to learn, but then he also realizes Trinity is a monster, but Trinity also is. I mean, the guy's a good actress. I mean, a good actor for the show. But you start to see the weakness in the cast without like adults there. I mean,
that's true.
And I don't even want to touch the fucking marriage between Angel and LaGuardia. God,
it's political, man.
No, it's worse. And then
it's political, and it's literal sense of political.
Okay,
piss off the others.
I'm
and
going
to
to
remain
say a
together.
reference. You won't get it. I swear to God, they modeled that marriage off of basically Mark Anthony and Jennifer Lopez. And then it's like one cares and the other one doesn't. But it's also because LaGuarta's character does not evolve. She still is the same. She just becomes more of the backstabbing Karen that hates other women.
She
Like,
hates everyone, not just women.
you see it in season 4.
Yeah.
Like, she...
And
what
the
is it?
final
Like,
straw is really
earlier
in
seasons.
season 7. I cannot wait for next week to talk about that. But in
Well,
season 7,
the
there's
thing
the
is,
final
right?
straw at the very end that's like, she's evil. She's an antagonist, but she's borderline villainous.
Well, actually, no. Season 4, she's still fighting with, like, Deborah. Like, she's all about,
she's not
you
done
go,
fighting.
girl. I'm going to empower you. But then I'm going to cut you off at the knees. How many different times? You know, we women, we need to stick together. But I'm going to be the one to stab you in the back, not the men.
But that's like what's the point. And again, that's why I think she should have died the way she died in the books. You don't need her for all these seasons she was in. As much as the actress is cool, I think the character itself was not worth it.
No,
I hate her so much.
It's there, but that's the thing on season 4. You start to see cracks in the characters, but the big focus is on Trinity. Now, I will say that going towards the final part, yeah, Trinity's developing a crisis, but Dexter's also has the Batman thing going on. He made Trinity worse. And likelihood, he probably... because he's never really dealt with an actual serial killer. That's what makes Trinity...
Well, Istra Killer was a serial killer. And Miguel as well. Like, maybe you didn't understand, but it was behind a lot of let's chop up people off after.
Well, okay.
Dexter
Would you arguably
really...
say the ones that were more serial killers were Trinity was a more plotted because he didn't leave any evidence.
One thing we can say about Trinity is the biggest one he had to deal with. But he dealt with others prior, but it was the biggest one with the biggest...
well, the ice truck killer kind of like was all the way through. You always knew he was bad because that's his brother. He was doing stupid shit. Like, that's why, like, Original Sin pretty much lays out he was going on murder sprees across the country for years. But the guy that they had to play Trinity was good. But you start to see it's not a bad season. I mean, it has moments towards the end where when Trinity starts self-destructing, you have the mysterious daughter. It's up there, but it is a dated season.
That's interesting. You have a very hot take because that's one of the favorites among fans.
Well, okay, the thing about it is, lore-wise, it's good. But the issue itself is if you look at the story, Trinity should not... yeah, Dexter let him get away more than once. But the whole...
you wanted to learn from him, that's why.
Probably the problem with a lot of it, and it became a trope later on, that's like Dexter's Achilles heel with show-wise. You see it in Original Sin, you see it in Resurrection. He wants to learn from the people he thinks who are... like in Resurrection, you see him learning from the other serial killers. Like, oh, they have a code. No, I mean, he's dealing with psychopaths. The only reason he's remotely a decent human being is because Harry taught him a decent set of morals.
And he has restraints.
The others are just like, oh, I'm just going to kill...
wild animals.
like Trinity. Like, the thing is, The whole thing with Trinity is when they realize who he is, they're like piecing it together, because it's also the part of the season where they discover that the police start going against like Dexter's stuff or figuring it out, because it's kind of like, because Dexter has to control the killing. But the thing about it is, once he realizes that, but I think what does hurt season 4, though, before I pass it to you, is there's something about the relationships that they write. They want the people to matter to each other, but I swear to God, they don't know how to write it. And it goes back to Rita's early relationship. She goes, "Oh, you're addicted to drugs." But you can't say at the same time she knew her husband was a serial killer. Especially after he started, like, breaking, like, goes, "Yeah, I saw you break the lights of the neighbor." What? You knew? Like, oh, but the whole thing too is, yeah, like but it's more that air of it, because Dexter did not tell him that his daughter killed himself, but they also don't show that off screen he killed Rita. And I mean, granted,
It's obvious he did. Like, if someone missed that, they need to rewatch the season.
what, him going over there?
The Trinity being behind it, it's crystal clear for anyone that understood the show.
Of which part? Like, he does, like, but I mean, killing Rita off screen and leaving the trap for Dexter. Yeah, I mean, that's.
It's not necessarily a trap. It's more like I found you and I got payback.
I mean, does he know his? But then his actual other daughter's the reporter. But it's a good whodunit. But yes, I'll let you go.
Perfect. I guess that's my goal. I think season 4 is hands down the best season the show had to offer. Even with the spin-offs, I think the spin-offs really dropped in quality. But as of right now, let's just stick to the original show. I think season 4 did great job at following up what we had with the previous season and building upon it and doing really good stuff. Now, I have no issues whatsoever with the entire season. I'd say most of the episodes are really consistent and really, really good. Um, that show really is something special. When you watch the first 4 seasons, you're like, "Oh, that's amazing." Um, so now let's get into my notes. The same way season 3 with the wedding was heavily inspired by book 3, this season with the design guy, it was inspired by book 4. The first innocent victim of Dexter, it's the same guy from book 4 and in the show. That's a nice Easter egg, I think, out there. Dev's getting shot was very similar to her getting stabbed in book 4. Uh, yeah, so both the book and the season at that point, they deal with Dexter dealing with, "Oh, I took an innocent life." And that's very interesting. Quinn, despite being different than Dev's partner in the book, he filled the same purpose. He is also filling in for the spot Dokes left empty. He wants to catch Dexter doing wrong thing as a payback for Dexter catching him. Um, there were books, Miss Sparkle. So Dexter is based on books. There are 8 books, and only the first book was really adapted. The other book only borrowed and were inspired by other books, but really the first book
They
was
took events from the other books, so it's like a 1
yeah.
for 2. Then it starts becoming a 1 for 3.
And at some point, it's no longer a 1 for something. It's a completely different thing. Even Dexter is very different.
Okay,
So
no, they Game of Thrones did. Like, Game of Thrones switched from.
we will try to limit the tangent, man. We know that the Game of Thrones is different.
But D&D did. The idea is they took the approach of what the author had intended, but he changed it. They started going, oh, but all the kings died. But it's like, no, it's not the case.
Yeah, so to get back to Dexter, to limit the tangent, I thought the action and the music were great as usual. The acting was rock solid. That's the last season that's like that. Dexter's desire to emulate Trinity was well made. Trinity was the best villain in the entire show. Characters were enjoyable. Great follow up to season 3. The reveal and twist were very good. Now, other notes I've got here. So, Dexter caring for his family was great growth, and it mirrored very well book 5 when he really gets to get his daughter, because in the books he has a daughter. It's very interesting. Um, I think book 5 was like 2009, so that would be like at the exact time as season 4 aired, which is very interesting. Um, Now the next thing to enjoy. Nice growth. How Dexter realized his dark passenger ruined his life. Because now he cannot like jungle everything he has. He has his job, he has his family, he has Trinity. He just cannot do everything at once. And season 5 hammered it even more home than season 4 did. Both lives collapsing when Trinity finally met Dexter. It was very entertaining, really cool, and we see other seasons later with the spin-off and all just doing the same thing. But that was the first time both lives really collapsed, and that was very cool. Dexter being called on the middle of something showed once again he took too much on his plate. Vince trying awkwardly to be Dexter's friend was endearing, and it reminded me of the dynamic they had in the books. I think in the books they were really like that, except the last book. Surprisingly enough, the last book, it was truly a good friend, and that's kind of funny. But Dexter was an awful friend, so that's another big thing, a big
Dexter
difference.
was a sociopath.
Yeah,
So he doesn't have feelings. That's the thing about Dexter. Like, I'm actually surprised that in the show, when you talk about all relationships, he's the kind of guy that you would see awkwardly doesn't, but he's not a psychopath as much as a sociopath. He can understand others, but it's also like when you go the types you see.
it's all fake. The way you understand them, it's because he analyzed everything.
But he also doesn't understand it at the same time, like emotions. Like, but physically, it's not because of the trauma as the child. It's more evident he just has. That's why the difference between I want to say sociopath. He feeds off emotions, but he doesn't understand it, and it's a key thing in there. That's why everyone's like, "You're just so awkward." But it's like
all
later,
fake. It's also all fake, and they really drive it home very well in the books. Like he's like, if I were a human, I wouldn't need to fake it.
before you
That's
see
almost
it,
a quote from the books.
before you see it, but normal people see through that.
Yeah. So again, I think at that point the show still thinks about the book sometimes, and that's why it's so good. And I will say there's a very nice contrast between Trinity and Dexter. One likes the kid, the other mistreat the kid. So Dexter really likes kid, and even in the books, he's like, I hate humans, but I like kids. And it's not on a pedo way. It's really on a Dexter way where kids are innocent, kids are this, kids are that, humans are monster, adults are terrible. It's the kind of a very touching, interesting aspect to Dexter. And again, Trinity is just terrible to his family while Dexter tried to be his best. And it's still very interesting how Dexter tries to learn from such a monster. It's fascinating. Um, and again, I think Trinity was shown to be an awful dad many times. Nice idea that Dexter misses first family Thanksgiving because of his dark hobby, showing he can't have it all. theme of tradition. Dexter trying to find an escape of the family time made sense. Dexter admiring Trinity was very fun, and guilt and remorse are what make people different from animal. That's a nice theme. Dexter realizing he's more human was a big difference from the books. In the books, book five truly, book three and book five truly try to humanize him, but these are the only two books where they try to humanize Dexter. Well, in the show, they really try to humanize Dexter in many instances, like season four and season five as well. Dexter wasn't able to picture a life without Rita because of the kids. Um, it's not necessarily because of Rita again. That's because of the kids. Going back to he loves kid and hate adults. Dexter taking care of his son, hoping it keep his innocence was fun. Lost of Innocence as a solid team explored through Deb's learning about Dexter's past. Dexter's son being exposed to a bloodbath as well was destroying innocence. The reporter lost innocence when her dad discarded her. Dexter lost innocence when he realized maybe his fake life will collapse the same way Trinity life collapsed. Um, and again, now we got New Blood, we got Resurrection, we got Original Sin. I will say this season of Dexter is hands down the best. And before I give my grade to season 4, let's get into the worst 3 episode in the top 3. In last place, we got episode 8 with a 9.5 out of 10. In second place, as the worst episode, we got the first episode of season 4 with a 9.7 out of 10. In third place in the worst 3, episode 12, The Gateway, 10 out of 10. My top 3 episodes are in third place. Episode 10 with a 10. In second place, episode 7 with a 10. In first place, episode 9 with a 10. And that first place is one of the best episode in the entire show, in my books. So with that being said, are we adding anything else, dlord?
I would say, did you know they are talking, there's reports they want to do a prequel series. Because the funny thing is, see, the other time you see him confronting humanity or how it deals with his family, you remember how he was dealing with Rapunzel?
Yeah.
Because Rapunzel's like, well, how do you, like, he goes, oh, I has a family. It's not that the show paints it as Rita grounded him, basically.
Yeah.
The whole thing of he basically, but they also want to do a prequel, like with a little bit of the Trinity.
That was destroyed in the egg. It's
What?
no longer a thing.
Really? They're not going to do it?
It's really old news. They won't go forward with it.
Well, I don't think they can do it unless you're just going to have a prequel, like the idea. But the thing too is, Dexter does have stuff, but what I say hurts season 4 is a couple of the later episodes, or the episodes where I think it's like before the penultimate, it's like, well, he could have just solved it. Oh, Dexter gets caught by the cops after he gets him in the van. Oh, he has to do it because of a fender bender. Oh, what the? Who wrote that? Like, and then clearly, yeah, like if Trinity wasn't going to go insane prior to that, he would have done it.
So, what would be your grade out of 10 for season 4?
Strangely enough, only because of there's like 3 really bad episodes going towards the finale, and the writing, I usually give it about, like, it gets an 8 out of 10, but man, there's episodes towards the end I would never want to rewatch because I'm gonna do this and that, because they're just it's just that bad. It's like the writing, you're like, really. Like, just how they phrase it. Like, there's low points in the episode. That's where I take points off. But
Interesting.
that's why I say that's why like it's a little strange. But other than that,
So there's no surprise if it's my favorite season so far. It deserves a 10 out of 10. So 10 out of 10, season 4. Let's get into season 5. Let's spoil the entire thing. What did you think of season 5?
I mean, season 5 wasn't terrible. Like,
Agreed.
the idea of Lumen is a good character to a degree, but I swear to God, the same person who wrote her is the same person who writes LaGuardia. Because her Karen moments, not because she's a survivor of the incident, it's just that bad of she's. But I remember this at the time. This is when you start to see that the male characters get kind of cucked in a way. And then Dexter's like, oh, but I need to protect you because of whatever. You also know my secret kind of crap. But there's also that point where she acts like strong woman, I don't need anybody. Which she just becomes like, if you don't like LaGuardia, you're not going to like her. But then she
But
also
to be honest, to Lumen's defense, I think it's fine to have that because I mean she is the first ally to Dexter in that kind of work, and they didn't want her to be some kind of Mary Sue, or they didn't want her to be like, it's hard to say, but I think they really wanted her to have agency, to be a master of her own destiny,
I
and
think that, but
that's part of her character arc as well.
they
Because
didn't execute it well, though.
yeah,
Because there's a point where you see her with the family, like she helps explain stuff. Like, was it Teenage Wasteland? But
yeah,
like, she herself, like, if what was it, Chase was a big enough monster, he would have killed her or so.
yeah, that's true.
That last, I will say, towards the end of that season, though, it's I don't, but it's also, I don't think the Barrel Gang was the best villains.
And that's funny because that they are not to the fifth book. I look at the timeline. So season 5 was 2010, and book 5 was 2009. So book 5 just came out before that, and we had a group of people eating other people, and they would leave the people in barrel like that.
I mean, no, the thing about it is, Dim is the main villain. Basically, if you know, it's kind of like a play on Joel Osteen and other people. You would think it's like a manosphere influence.
That was the Men of Seer before the Men of Seer.
Yeah, it's a manosphere before. It's like the people, but the idea itself, them as the main villains. I'll be honest, I found the Killers of the Week more interesting. I hate to tell you that.
That's a very
like outside of the others, it's just because it drags on in sections. You could have easily said, oh, he's going to hunt them down, and you kind of gather it's the way it is. But then again, you can't expect coming off season 4 to have a banger. But, like, Lumen probably wasn't going to stick around.
That's true.
But
she doesn't have enough material to stand on her own.
And it would have been weird because it's not until later on you see the fill-in. Because I'll be very honest, the theme of the show is, I swear, I would love to have to go back and see it. Because the amount, I hate to say it, of rebound relationships Like, people don't. Dexter
Fact.
kills people, all right? But all these people, like, I know the trope with Deborah in the show is she sleeps with everybody because she can't form long-term relationships.
Yeah,
For real? But,
yeah,
like, everybody, like, and you see it, 4 into 5 is like you see LaGuarta go and Angel have a decent relationship, and then it just becomes weird. Like, I think, okay, no, season, what was it, season 5, or was, no, season 6 is when she blackmails the commissioner, right?
yeah.
So, and it's like, she's a terrible human being. She's like, oh, you have a good man. I'm going to take care of you, but I'm also going to stab you and every other female in the back, including the other minority hire Latino detective. Like, oh, no, no. Season 5 it has that point where it's good, but there's also, I do think it has that moment where Deborah sees what happens. Like, she could have gotten Dexter. Like, there's points. Seriously, Dexter should just be caught. But she's like, but I'm not going to call it in just because you're doing the vigilanteism. I'm not going to do it. So, yeah, no. Season 5's kind of, it has some rough. I don't like the Barrel Gang. Like, half of them are inbred rednecks, which too stupid to survive. The
This I
other
agree.
the others are like semi-intelligent, but they're like, you just let them get away, and then they
The way
just,
you framed it, I like it.
okay, you cannot tell me the animal. So what? The animal control guy, like the one that's actually interesting, is like, was it Cole, the ex-Marine guy, kind of thing?
Even
Like,
him,
it
I'd
made
say, sucks.
sense. Like, but then you had like the weird ginger banker that had no soul. Like, you
The way
know,
you described him, I like it.
it's, well, actually, that's a more of a joke, but like, and then he's just there. It's like, it's the most likelihood of 5 friends that like don't exist, and they're like, oh, we don't know each other. Okay, but like, that's why I said they don't work as a main villain group. And then the timeline is all over when they get to that main plot. Oh, I just don't report the head of my security has been missing for 2 weeks. What? Well, no, it's literally and I don't, and I want to say that's just shoehorned in later in the season with the dialogue to make them not seem like stupid villains, because towards the end it does have a good finale where they make the guy seem insane. Like, they make him seem like a good villain, the main guy,
Yeah.
but the buildup is terrible, except for literally uh, the bodyguards walking through the hotel like a thug, the main thug, looking and hunting people. No, doesn't work.
Do you want to add anything
It's all
else?
good, though. That's all I have to say.
Okay, well, it's party time. I think season 5 is underrated for those who hate it. However, it's a step down. It's nowhere near as good as the first 4 seasons. And you mentioned Cracked. I see them all over the place. I had so many issues with season 5 overall, and even in the individual episode, I think they all felt like a downgrade. It's like you used to have some very rich wine, and now you got that terrible beer that tastes like ass. That's what we have right now. So yeah, let's really dive deep into what went wrong for me in season 5. My first issue would be the pacing. It's the first season where I really felt like, wow, 12 episodes is too many. I feel like 10 episodes could have been much better, more square, more round, more fluid, uh, better written. So I think we had a big thing here with season 5. The filler subplot, mostly Lagorta and Batista drama. It wasn't good enough to have more than 1 or 2 scenes per episode. It did drag down from the good and interesting. Uh, my second issue with season 5. Story wasn't as well written as previous season. It was filled with plot convenience. My third issue. Washout Detective was very weak as a supporting antagonist. He was just there to get his job back, and that's his only character trait. He is a jerk. Okay, get it. We need 2 scenes, but yet he's always there every week to push, rewind, to put pressure on Dexter because Quinn told him to do so. My fourth issue, the main villain leader was weak. Despite okay backstory and acting, he is not as good as the other 4 previous villain. He is forgettable. Now, these were my 4 issues. Let's get into a side note and then my likes because I do think there are redeemable qualities to season 5. Season 5 was 2010, a year after book 5. Took book 4 and 5 inspiration, and the group reminded me of the group of people eating others in season 5. The likes! I think Lumen was a great character. People are not happy she left. I just don't see any room to improve her or change her, so I understand why they wrote her off. I think she did great time in the show. Flashbacks were great. Rita's death was well handled. Acting was rock solid as usual. Humor was great. Episode 1 was a standout one. It's one of the best the show had. And even when you count the spin-off, the sequel, I think season 5, episode 1 enters the top 10 ever. It was a very great season premiere. You get hooked. If the entire season was like that first episode, I think that season could have been great. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. So let's get into other very fun thing about that season. Whiteout, the disguise, and the family. Only the monster is what's left in Dexter. Dexter taking another life. Whiteout, his usual code, was interesting since it was out of anger. Dexter guilt made sense. Dexter dark passager taking over was tragic. Dexter sounding alien on his 911 call was interesting and it made sense. Dexter letting the kids go was nice growth. Dexter trying to be a dad was cool. Dexter seeing kids as a salvation made sense, and it was part of the books as well. Team of insult culture and Guru before it was trending. Dexter missing the first steps was tragic. It's always the hobby that gets in the family way. Quinn arc into rejecting his vendetta toward Dexter was cool. It was Quinn's best season. Lumen Vengeance arc was great. Deb's growth into accepting the vigilante was a nice touch inspired by book 4. Lumen turning into Dexter was very fun. So I think this.
Let me say that I do think the washout, like narcotics detective, I kind of spaced that one. His plot was actually kind of interesting. Like, yeah, Quinn's biggest problem is the writing, where he starts the beginning of the season with doing, it's the statistics, it's 90% of the time the murders are committed by the husband. And then I do believe, like, when the FBI comes in to take over the case, regardless of, the Angel and Batiste, LaGuardia stuff is bad. She goes like, we just give it away because I can't. But that part with, like, the FBI being cartoonishly like, oh, Dexter's hiding. I'll be very honest, it's like almost cartoonishly evil. But like the narcotics detective who actually finds out about Dexter but has no way to get it out. Yeah, no, he's at that subplot was actually good. Multi. Like
Yeah.
that part was better. Like I'm like, yeah, that guy's a bastard, but he's a better villain than half the main people you see.
Yeah.
Now I think like okay, I disagree. Like the idea, the like now, like when before he goes to the funeral, like the weird hillbilly guy that it's at the gas station talks bad about the wife, and he just beats the crap out of him. Yeah, he's likely was a bad guy, but did he meet the code?
No.
Not really. But that's like the first time you see Harry come back too,
Yeah.
because Harry like that's like the most human thing you see.
Yeah.
That's that's
That's why
what
it's one of the best moments. And if the entire season was like that, that would have been a great season. So, my worst 3 episode in season 5. Episode 6 with a 7 out of 10, followed by episode 5 with a 7 out of 10, followed by episode 11 with a 8.5 out of 10. Now, my top 3, in last place of the top 3, we got episode 12 with a 9.9 out of 10 because I think it's quite good. It's almost perfect, but it wasn't. In second place, season 5, we got episode 7 with a 10 out of 10, and episode 4 with a 10 out of 10. Very, very good episode there. Um, yeah, that season was just weird. It's tragic. It could have been far better than what we got. Any closing thought on season 5, dlord?
I mean, season 5 it does have its ups and downs. As I said, I think the main barrel villains aren't as great. Like I think but the plot with the washed out cop, like that actually just exposes Dexter in them, but it's also but the season suffers from two major problems. The decay of LaGuardia's relationship, as well as just
And there's so much emphasis to this shit. I really hate it.
it's worse. Like Quinn is they want Quinn to be like Dulks in earlier seasons, but he doesn't have the characters of it.
But that's
Like
true.
it's just worse. Like I think what it doesn't get better. He's just an obnoxious character.
So,
Yeah,
what would be your grade out of 10 for season 5?
I give that like just because of the weirder episodes a 7 out of 10
We
because
are very
it's
close.
saved by the better parts. Like I like the idea of the pre-inspirational early internet guru guy like a Joel Olstein style
Yeah,
talking about the motivational speeches thing. That's very much a 90s early 2000s or internet like reference.
yeah,
But it's as I said prior, the show was going through the West Wing effect.
yeah.
The the West
So,
Wing effect can make fun of conservatives.
yeah.
There's jabs to it.
So, I thought season 5 was a 7.5 out of 10. It's a very good season. I'd say it's slightly above Resurrection in my books. With that being said, let's get into season 6, where we hit rock bottom for the Dexter franchise. What did you think of season 6?
See, there's parts of it that are really really bad. Like
Parts?
I would
Parts?
okay. The main killer, I like the main killer. The main killer is actually interesting. Now,
Outside of the twist, not really, I'd say, but keep going.
okay, this is where we'll disagree. Like, I do believe like the killer is not the in season 6. Like, it's not. Now, if you cut out the LaGuardia shit and
When you start like that, it's a really rough start.
it doesn't get better. It gets the blackmail. Like, why, like the other? It's like, why does the blackmail? And you're like, it's just casually. She blackmails the commissioner entirely. And then the commissioner gets back at her by going around and screwing over Batista being lieutenant. And then you have her doing the frenemy shit to Deborah. I would have cut that out entirely.
I'm with you, actually.
Like, it's horrible. It's kind of like, but the Doomsday Killer kind of thing, like, I figured the twist out early, but it's kind of strange. That's why I said he's not a bad, like, major villain, like, and there's no leads to it. But, like, the idea of the rest of it, where there's subplots, which the new detective, the changes, and, like, again, if you take out the LaGuardia, like, something, like, honestly, whoever was writing her at some point, her writing just gets worse. And then it's, like, totally fake. Like, oh, he's leaving you out to dry. It's my idea. No. That's why I don't feel bad for her as her actual ultimate fate. Like, her ultimate fate of... You do forget, though, in the prior season, though, Dexter, out of pity of the relationship, did save Quinn. But then Quinn just goes back to being an unrepentant asshole. Like, seriously. It's like, he spends, like, half the season, oh, you don't want to marry me. I'm going to be a mopey little bitch all season. No.
Oh, that's that season. Now I remember. That was awful. And he
What? You don't remember? How do you forget that?
I thought it was more of a season 7, but you're right. That's season 6. Oh my!
He spends all half the season just literally a drunken mess.
And with season 7, he gets with the hooker that just uses him. I cannot wait to talk about season 7.
You forgot, like, how insufferable Quinn, the personal relationships are. Like, that's just...
You're right.
And then Deborah's actress is just left there with whatever writing they left her, where it's like the world's worst press conference.
Yeah.
That's the side where I say the season falls apart. The season falls apart there. Like, but the main plot with, like, the Doomsday Killer, figuring that out, and again, there's the stupid plot of you let the guy go, but Dexter doesn't know the twist. But it's also that point of he has to deal with the brother Sam stuff that helps ground him. But at the same time, it's like, the police drama and the relationship drama. It's kind of like, that's why I said she's like the Karen. I want everyone to be successful. I want my fellow woman to be strong. As she cuts her off at the knees, every opportunity, like an angry, like just catty as hell. Am I wrong?
You're right.
It's the worst.
I think they pretend it's nuance, it's complexity, it's just terrible characterization.
That's what I say. I literally say overall the season is hurt by the back drama. And then when they go, oh, she becomes lieutenant. Okay, good. But you can literally tell. Like, I have no idea. Like, I know Deborah would be like, yeah, I gotta honor you because you were the predecessor. You helped me out. But how did Deborah's character go from being earlier on not to realize LaGuardia was an insufferable cow towards her. Think back to the prior seasons. She admits openly that she had the knees cut out from her
Yeah.
early on, and then she goes, I'm going to go with that detective. I go, oh, you can go with the detective, the judge, but I'm going to bring in this outside detective. Which turns out to be a better character, but that's why I say the killers are good with the Brother Sam plot, but the idea, the police drama side, that could go by the wayside, and I do not know why it was such an important feature.
Yeah. So I guess that's my goal because I've seen your mic being turned off. Season 6 is where we hit rock bottom, and as I went through my notes again, I realized I marked something poorly, and let's get into my issues. What went wrong with season 6? My first issue, the story was filled with plot convenience. My second issue, Travis and his mentor were one forgettable villain. Felt like he downgraded from the downgrade that Jordan Chase was. My third issue, the dialogue was very weak and lots of it was off-putting. My fourth issue, pacing was terrible. Lots of subplot were filler. I think this season could have been like 8 to 10 episode tops, but yet we got 12. My fifth issue, acting and or directing were both very bad. I don't know what happened there. My sixth issue, color grading and or lighting was really bad. The lighting was just horrendous. What happened there? What did you hire? What did you do? What went wrong? I don't know. My seventh and
We
last
used
issue.
assets through the entire season.
My seventh issue, characterization overall was lacking. Lots of supporting character weren't needed but were included. The best example, Batista sister lover. Vince's love interest was weak. Batista had no character arc. LaGuardia didn't evolve. So again, everyone was just left to dry in that season. A lot of people didn't like what they did with Deborah. I think that was fine. But again, I think that season is a huge mistake. They did everything wrong. Side note, funny how the worst season was inspired by the third book being also what I think was the worst book. Both had religion fanatic in it. Now, I got a few likes. A few. Because there are some redeemable qualities despite that season being terrible and awful. Let's get into the likes. I admit the reveal of Travis having a split personality was cool. It gave a twist. It was nice. Dexter arc into having and losing faith was cool. Debs being in love with Dexter was well set up despite being weird. I will say they did that for her to have more incentive to side with Dexter when she learns about his dark secret. Now, the next thing to enjoy. The political aspect was well made and entertaining. And yeah, that's what we got. That season wasn't great. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. Let's get into the worst 3 episodes of season 6 and the top 3 episodes of season 6. In third place in my worst 3, we got episode 6 with a 5 out of 10. In second place in the worst top 3, episode 4 with a 5 out of 10. And the worst episode probably in the entire show, or maybe not that far, but it was rock bottom. And it was episode 3 with a 3 out of 10. I could not stand episode 3. Burn it to the ground. It shouldn't exist. Now, my top 3 episodes. In third place, we got episode 8 with the 8 out of 10. In second place, we got episode 5 with the 8 out of 10. And in first place, my favorite episode that season was episode 11 with a 10. I think that season was just really bad. I don't know what happened there. Well, I actually do know they changed showrunner and the new guy or the new girl, whatever, they were underqualified. They didn't know what to do, and they chose the wrong people to produce and make the show. Um, and also that I think that was the first season where Milsa Rosenberg wasn't involved, and she was there for the first 4 seasons, and I think she appeared maybe once or twice in the credit of season 5 somewhere. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know she was part of the first 4 seasons. Um, but I don't think she was involved in 6, and we can tell. Now, do you have any closing thoughts on season 6, dlord?
No, I mean, I do disagree. I like the idea of the Doomsday Killer, like, but as I said, there's parts of the other, like, whoever, because I'm gonna have to start. I want to go in not who was the executive producer per episode, but who was actually in the writer position for that show. Because whatever happened with season 6, it's, I'm not saying it's criminal.
It is.
It's
I will say it
just, there is no describing it. It's miserable. It's not like, who writes? If someone came to you with a script, we're going to have the scene with LaGorta. She's just going to come in and undercut Deborah acting as a friend. That crap, if you saw that in today's modern cinema, it looks like it's just cut in or a cutaway scene just to be a bit. It's, you know what I'm talking about too in a movie. It's like a scene they add in later on for some reason. And the show, like, they felt LaGuardia needed to do that the entire season. Like, it would have been smarter to play it up as, oh, she gets promoted to captain, and then you can let Deborah be Deborah. You know, let her grow. But it's
Yeah.
like she just exists solely to be in the department. It's like, I think there was a scene maybe she was supposed to play more interference. Because you see, that's why I said season 6, the police drama side ruins it.
Season 6 was a mistake that shouldn't have
The
happened.
early part of it, the later part's better. But there's a lot of actors and a lot of people's story arcs that should be better. I don't know how many episodes you need with a drunken Quinn or to come ruin crap, but hey,
I agree. What would be your grade out of 10 for season 6?
I give it a 6.5.
My, that's much higher than me.
I'm nice. There's
I can
good
tell.
plots where it's interesting in the aspect of it because the guy that they got to play the spoiler twist is he killed the mentor of the psychotic professor and he's imagining him in his head. That's
Yeah.
actually a really good actor. In the scenes he's in, it's really good because that's the guy who was in. I'm gonna say it's John. I'm gonna say it's Amos. This is his last name. It's the guy from Battlestar Galactica, the show.
Yeah.
He basically plays a really good character. Basically,
Yeah. So, I just realized I misplaced something in my notes, and the more I'm thinking and talking about that season, the worse that season gets. And there's one issue I did forgot to mention because it was misplaced in my notes, but the eighth and last issue would be lots of the episodes were weak, and um, because of that, I will say this season for me is a 3.5 out of 10. Um, it's horrendous. Um, it's I don't know who greenlit it. Uh, I really found it hard to find good things to say about that season. It's just unwatchable. It's one of the worst thing I've seen in TV, and it's funny because as of right now, I'm doing my Smallville marathon, and Smallville fourth season is actually more watchable than this crap. It's hilarious. Uh, anyhow, Dexter season 6 shouldn't exist. It was a mistake. Whoever greenlit it should be fired if they still have a job. Anyhow, what do you have going on your end of the internet?
Diablo.
Diablo. That's what we got. You cut off. I don't know what happened there.
I have other things. I have a thing. I'm just waiting to see on the further evolving situation from the Charlie Kirk fallout. Everyone seemed to forget why they're all celebrating Jimmy Kimmel coming back, but they don't realize in the U.S. the people who control the TV licenses do not want him back. So they can preempt him. But that topic be fun to have with you is what's the limits of free speech according to people?
Again, in October I will have more time for
You
that.
should like the other, but yeah, no, the I mean, granted,
Like in October, I will text
I'll
you.
probably and I'm
I will
probably
have more
going
time.
to do the now that Alien Earth is done, then I'll have time. I'm going to go over the. I have to touch base on that because that show is a interesting gift. It's but no, it's other than that, only thing going on. I have that coming up and just certain games I play. That's all, and then who knows?
Perfect. Well, if you're available Saturday, we will do the same thing as last Saturday. We will cover a question period that was very entertaining.
Probably should be.
What do I have? Well, question period stream Saturday. It's Candy and Politics. We will have a mainstream movie review Monday. I think we will cover one or two movies that will come out Friday. It depends if I have enough time to watch both in theater because I'm quite occupied. Um, Next Tuesday we talk about MCU stuff, so I will send you the link. It's We will have a short discussion on Guardian Volume 3. We will talk about Thor Ragnarok and another MCU movie. I have a blank right now.
I saw
Uh,
you're trying to. Yeah, look, it's not that Thor Ragnarok was bad. The problem,
Not Ragnarok, actually, Love and Thunder. Not Ragnarok, sorry. Love and Thunder was actually bad. But we talk about the bad of the MCU next Tuesday. I will send you the link. It's next
they
Tuesday,
should have
same
just
time.
adapted. Thor becomes unworthy for the thousandth time post.
Yeah.
In the comics, the reason why Jane Foster gets the hammer is post Fear itself. He
Yeah.
becomes unworthy, and it turns out it starts off as a really bad arc, but it turns out to be really good.
Yeah. And next Wednesday, we finish off Dexter with season 7, 8, and New Blood. Hopefully, you will have enough time to watch all of these three. So, season 7, 8, and New Blood next Wednesday. Cannot wait for that. With that being said, we are out for this week. Next Tuesday, MCU talk. And yeah, we are out.